What if the pain you feel from being ignored isn't a reflection of your worth, but a revelation of who truly belongs in your life? What if recognizing the silent signs of neglect could free you from one-sided relationships forever? Imagine reclaiming your energy, dignity, and peace by finally seeing through the empty words and broken promises. Welcome to a wake-up call, a powerful journey to recognize the behaviors of those who don't truly care about you, and how protecting your heart will lead you to the love, respect, and reciprocity you deserve. How to recognize people who don't care about you. 8 Clear Signs. By Billy Graham. YouTube. We all know the feeling of being left on red, don't we? Or maybe you've sent a text, a call, or an email, hoping for a response and nothing comes back over time. It begins to eat at you. You start to wonder, did I say something wrong? Are they busy? Or even, am I just not important enough for them to respond? The truth is, when someone doesn't care about you, communication starts to fade. They don't initiate contact. And when you do reach out, it's like pulling teeth to get a response in the beginning. You might justify it. Maybe they're going through a tough time. Maybe they're just distracted. Or maybe they don't know how much you care. But as time passes, the silence becomes louder than words ever could. This isn't about occasional lapses in communication. We all get busy. Life happens, and sometimes messages slip through the cracks. But when it becomes a pattern, when you're constantly the one reaching out, constantly the one making the effort to bridge the gap, you begin to realize something isn't right. People who care about you will take the time to check in, even if it's just to say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you." They'll acknowledge your existence even in the midst of their own chaos. But someone who doesn't care, they won't bother. They'll leave you hanging, making you wonder where you stand with them. And here's the thing. It's not because they're too busy. It's because they don't see your value in their life. If someone truly cares, they will make space for you. It doesn't have to be grand gestures or lengthy conversations, just a simple acknowledgement that says you matter. But when communication becomes one-sided, when you're the one always reaching out to keep the conversation going, that's a clear sign that something is off. It's a sign that they may be taking your presence for granted. The worst part is when you start to pull back, when you start to stop initiating. They often don't even notice. Or worse, they may think you're the one who doesn't care. The cold truth is, they may not even realize how much their silence hurts because they simply don't prioritize you. It's not just the lack of response that stings. It's the emotional distance that comes with it. When someone stops reaching out, you start to feel invisible. It's like you're putting yourself out there, offering your time, your heart, and your energy, but they don't even acknowledge it. And eventually you begin to question your worth. What's wrong with me? Why am I not worth their time? It can start to chip away at your confidence, at your self-esteem, and at your sense of self-worth. But let me tell you something important. Just because someone doesn't communicate with you doesn't mean you're not valuable. It just means they don't know how to value you, and that's not on you. People who care about you, people who truly value you, will make sure you know it. They will make an effort, even in the smallest ways, to let you know that you are important to them. Whether it's a quick message to check in, or a call just to hear your voice, they won't let you wonder where you stand with them. We all deserve people in our lives who don't make us question our worth. We all deserve friends, family, or partners who see us, who make the effort, and who are there when we need them. But to get there, we have to recognize when the ones who are supposed to care about us aren't putting in that effort. Communication is the foundation of every relationship. Without it, there's nothing to build on when someone stops reaching out, when they make no effort to keep in touch. It's a clear sign that they're not emotionally invested. And while it may hurt at first, the best thing you can do is stop chasing after people who aren't willing to show up for you. So take a step back. Pay attention to the patterns and protect your energy. You deserve more than silence. You deserve people who are going to show up, who will care enough to communicate, to check in, to ask how you're doing. Don't let their absence define your worth. Because, my friends, you are valuable, even when they don't see it. When you care about someone, your words and your actions go hand in hand. You don't just talk about being there for them. You show up when it counts. But when someone doesn't care about you, their words will often sound like promises, like sweet nothings meant to plate or deceive, but their actions tell a different story entirely. This is where we start to see the divide between those who genuinely care and those who are just passing through. Think about the last time someone told you they would do something for you. Maybe they said they'd call, or they promised they'd help with a task, or they said they'd be there when you needed them. And when the time came, they were nowhere to be found. You could feel the sting in that moment, right? It wasn't just the broken promise. It was the realization that their words didn't match their actions. Their promises were hollow, and their lack of follow-through was loud. The truth is, words are easy. Anyone can say anything. It's what they do that matters. When someone doesn't care, their actions speak volumes. You can hear the promises, but they will be empty. They'll tell you what you want to hear, to keep the peace, to avoid confrontation, or to make themselves feel better. But when it comes time to back it up, they won't show up. They'll cancel plans last minute. They'll leave you hanging when you need support. They'll act as though their promises were never made in the first place. And each time they break their word, a little piece of trust slips away. Now, I want to make this clear. People who truly care about you will not be perfect. None of us, our life happens. And sometimes we can't follow through on everything. But there's a difference between a genuine mistake and a pattern of inconsistency. When someone genuinely cares, they'll do their best to keep their word, to show up for you, and to put action behind their words. But when someone doesn't care, they'll find 100 excuses, and when those excuses run out, they'll just stop trying. The gap between their words and their actions will widen, and eventually you'll realize it's not an accident. It's intentional. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of disappointment the first time someone doesn't come through. You might give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they forgot. But after a while, the excuses start to wear thin. You begin to realize that they never really had the intention to follow through in the first place. They just knew what you wanted to hear, and that's what they gave you. It's a form of emotional manipulation. Whether they mean to do it or not, they want to keep you around, but they're not willing to put in the effort it takes to nurture a real relationship. The sad part is, they'll often try to justify their lack of action. They'll make excuses like, "I'm just so busy," or "I've been dealing with my own stuff." But let's be honest, everyone has their own struggles. We all have busy lives. The difference is, when we care about someone, we make time for them, we prioritize the relationships that matter. It's not always about being available 24/7, but it's about showing up when it counts. When someone doesn't care, their actions will continuously disappoint you. They'll leave you waiting. They'll leave you wondering if they'll ever make good on their promises. And it's a painful place to be in. You start to question why you even bother. You start to feel like maybe you're the one who's overvaluing the relationship, putting more effort in than the other person is willing to. And that's where the hurt begins. You're giving your energy to someone who doesn't reciprocate. You're investing your time, your heart, and your soul into someone who isn't willing to meet you halfway. But here's the thing. You don't have to settle for that. You don't have to keep waiting around for someone who will never come through. It's important to recognize when you're being treated this way and to stop accepting empty promises. Don't let their inconsistency define your self-worth, because when someone truly cares, their actions will match their words, and you won't have to guess if they mean it. You won't have to wonder if they'll show up when it matters most. You'll know because their actions will prove it. So take a step back and look at the relationships in your life. Are the people around you showing up for you? Are their actions in line with what they say? If not, it's time to stop accepting the excuses. It's time to let go of the idea that someone who doesn't put in the effort is somehow worth holding on to. You deserve people who follow through, who show up, and who prove their care through consistent action. Don't settle for anything less. We all have boundaries, whether we recognize them or not. They are the invisible lines we set in our lives to protect our time, our emotions, and our well-being. They're the standards we establish to ensure that the people in our lives treat us with respect. And let me tell you something. When someone doesn't care about you, they will test those boundaries over and over again, pushing against them until you break. And it's not because they don't know better. It's because they don't care enough to respect them. Think about the times someone has crossed the line with you. Maybe they've ignored your need for space when you're going through something difficult. Maybe they've pushed you to do something you didn't feel comfortable with. Or maybe they've made light of something that you hold deeply personal. What happens when those boundaries are crossed? You feel disrespected, right? You feel like you've been violated in some way. It's as though the person you trusted didn't value the limits you set. And in that moment, you feel small, unimportant, and invisible when people care about you. They recognize your boundaries and they honor them. They understand that your needs, your time, and your emotional health matter. But when someone doesn't care about you, they won't even bother to ask. They won't check in to see what you're comfortable with, what you need, or what you value. Instead, they'll act as though their desires, their needs, and their wants come first. They'll push you, manipulate you, or guilt trip you into doing what they want. And every time they cross that line, they're telling you that your comfort, your feelings, and your peace don't matter. But here's the thing, if you don't set boundaries, people will continue to walk all over you. And that's not on them. It's on you. Because when we allow people to ignore our limits, we're essentially giving them permission to disrespect us. Boundaries aren't meant to keep people out. They're meant to protect what matters most to us. They're the invisible shield that helps us maintain our sense of self and our emotional health. Now, it's not always easy to set those boundaries. We might fear rejection or confrontation, We might worry that someone won't understand or will get upset with us. But let me tell you something. Setting boundaries isn't about being rude or selfish. It's about showing yourself the same care and respect that you would show to others. And anyone who truly cares about you will appreciate and honor those boundaries. They'll understand that when you say no, you're not saying it to hurt them. You're saying it because it's necessary for your own well-being. On the other hand, people who don't care about you will try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They'll push back, argue, or even make you feel like you're the one being unreasonable. They'll say things like, "You're being too sensitive," or "You're overreacting." They'll make you question whether your boundaries are too strict, too much, or too unrealistic. But the reality is, if they cared about you, they wouldn't question your need for respect. They would recognize your boundaries as valid, and they would do everything in their power to protect your peace and your space. And the worst part is, the more you allow someone to disrespect your boundaries, the more they will continue to do so. It's like a cycle that keeps repeating itself. The more you let them cross the line, the more they believe they have the right to do it again. They'll test you, prod you, and see how far they can go before you finally stand up for yourself. And if you don't, you'll find yourself constantly giving more than you're getting, always bending to their needs and never having your own respected. But here's what you need to understand. You don't have to tolerate that. You don't have to accept the disrespect. You are worthy of being treated with kindness, with understanding, and with care. And anyone who truly cares about you will show that respect through their actions. They'll honor your boundaries, not because they have to, but because they want to. They'll recognize that your needs matter, and they'll never make you feel like you have to compromise them for the sake of their convenience. So don't be afraid to set your boundaries, don't apologize for them, and don't back down when someone tries to push against them, because you deserve relationships where your boundaries are respected, where your feelings are valued, and where you don't have to constantly fight to protect your own peace. You are worthy of love, respect, and care. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're asking for too much. And when someone tries to push you beyond what you're comfortable with, remember, you don't owe them an explanation. Your peace is worth fighting for. Have you ever been the one reaching out, always trying to be there for someone, only to find that they're nowhere to be found when you need them? You know what I'm talking about. The kind of relationship where it feels like you're always the one doing the heavy lifting. You make the calls, you send the texts, you initiate the plans, and yet, when the roles are reversed, it's like pulling teeth to get them to show up. They only come around when they need something, when they want your help, your time, or your support. But when it's your turn, they're nowhere in sight. It's frustrating, isn't it? It's hurtful to realize that someone only values you when it serves them. People who don't care about you will only reach out when it's convenient for them. They'll show up when they need something, whether it's a favor, your advice, or your time. But when the tables are turned, you can't count on them to return the favor. It's like they view you as a tool to be used, not as a person to be cared for. And after a while, you begin to feel like an afterthought. You start to feel like the relationship is one-sided, and you're the only one putting in the effort. That kind of imbalance is draining. It takes more out of you than it gives, and eventually you're left feeling empty, exhausted, and undervalued. Now don't get me wrong, we all have our moments when we need someone, life throws challenges at us, and we all need help from time to time. But the key difference is reciprocity in a healthy relationship. When you give, you receive. It's not about keeping score, but it's about balance, people who care about you. Don't just show up when it's easy or when they need something. They show up because they want to. They make an effort to be there, to listen, to support, and to care. Whether things are good or bad, they don't just take, they give back. But people who don't care about you won't put in that effort. They'll call you only when they need a ride, when they're looking for advice, or when they're going through a tough time. But when you're the one in need, don't be surprised if you hear crickets. They won't be there for you in the same way. And that's a clear sign that they don't value the relationship as much as you do. They won't check in on you just because they care. They'll check in on you because they have something they want from you. And here's where it starts to hurt even more. When you finally start to realize that you're the only one giving, that you're always the one reaching out, the question begins to gnaw at you. Why am I even bothering? Why are you putting in all this effort for someone who isn't willing to meet you? Halfway, you give and give, but they take without ever offering anything in return. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much you put in, it's never enough. Eventually, you'll feel drained. You'll feel like your kindness is being taken advantage of, and your time is being wasted. And yet, the most painful part of all this is the realization that they don't even notice. They don't even see the imbalance to them. You're just someone to rely on when they need help, someone to call on when it's convenient. They don't understand the emotional toll it takes on you to always be the one to give. They don't understand that relationships are built on mutual respect and mutual effort. Not just one person doing all the work, but here's the reality. You deserve better. You deserve relationships where people don't just show up when they need something, but when you need them too. You deserve friends, family, and partners who are there for you. Not just when things are easy, but when things are tough. You deserve people who recognize the effort you put in and who are willing to give the same in return, because that's what real care looks like. It's not about taking. It's about showing up, being there for each other, and offering support, love, and kindness without expecting anything in return. So take a step back and look at the relationships in your life. Are you always the one doing the reaching? Are you always the one offering your time, your energy, and your love? If you are, it's time to ask yourself whether that's the kind of relationship you want to invest in. You are worthy of relationships that are reciprocal, where the effort is shared, where the love is mutual, and where you don't have to constantly give without receiving. Stop letting people use you as their emotional backup and start valuing your time and your energy. You deserve people who will show up for you just as much as you show up for them. There's a painful truth that many of us have had to face at some point in our lives. When people care about you, they will make you feel like you're the problem. They'll twist things around, place blame where it doesn't belong, and make you question your own worth instead of owning up to their behavior. They'll turn things around and put the weight on your shoulders. They'll tell you you're too much, that you're too sensitive, or that you're overreacting. They'll make you feel as though you're asking for too much, just by expecting basic decency and respect. And as frustrating as it is, it's one of the clearest signs that they don't truly care about you. You see, people who don't care about you don't take responsibility for their actions. They don't own up to their mistakes. They don't look at their own behavior and say, "I could have done better." Instead, they point the finger at you. They create a narrative where you're the one at fault and they're the innocent bystanders. It's a form of emotional manipulation. They make you doubt your own feelings, your own needs, and your own perspective. And after a while, you start to feel like you're the crazy one, like you're the one in the wrong for wanting to be treated with kindness, respect, and consistency. But here's the truth. You're not the problem. They are. When someone genuinely cares about you, they take accountability for their actions. They recognize when they've hurt you, when they've made a mistake, and they apologize. They don't just say they're sorry for the sake of saying it. They show you through their actions that they want to do better. They acknowledge how their behavior affected you and commit to making changes. But people who don't care, they'll try to manipulate the situation. So it looks like you're the one with the issue. They'll make you feel like you're the one who's being difficult when all you're doing is asking for the same care and respect that they should be offering you from the start. And here's the real kicker. When someone doesn't care about you, they'll often gaslight you into believing their version of reality. They'll make you second guesses yourself, convince you that you're imagining things or that your feelings are exaggerated. Have you ever tried to talk to someone about something they did that hurt you, only for them to dismiss it as if it wasn't a big deal? They'll act like your concerns are small, that you're making a mountain out of a molehill, and they'll make you feel like you're the one who's out of touch with reality in those moments. It's easy to start questioning yourself. Maybe you are overreacting. Maybe you are too sensitive. Maybe they're right. But let me tell you something. Your feelings are valid. Your experiences are real. And when someone dismisses your feelings, when they tell you that you're being too much, or that you're the one causing the problem, they're not doing it because you're wrong. They're doing it because they don't want to take responsibility for their actions. They don't want to acknowledge that they've hurt you. They don't want to face the consequences of their behavior. So instead, they deflect, they deny, and they make you feel like you're the one who's out of line. This kind of behavior doesn't just hurt it, also causes confusion. It makes you question your own worth and your own perspective. It's mentally and emotionally exhausting to be in a relationship where you're constantly blamed, where you're always the one being made to feel like the problem. Over time, you start to believe the lie that maybe you are too much, maybe you are too demanding, and maybe you are the one at fault. But that's not the truth. The truth is that you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. You deserve to have your feelings heard, your needs acknowledged, and your boundaries honored. The thing is, when someone truly cares about you, they don't make you feel like a burden. They don't point fingers at you when things go wrong. They don't gaslight you into doubting yourself. Instead, they show up, they take responsibility, and they work together with you to make things right. They don't make you feel small or insignificant. They make you feel seen and valued. But when someone doesn't care, they will do everything in their power to avoid accountability. They'll turn the tables and make you feel like you're the one at fault, leaving you to carry the weight of their mistakes. And that's where you need to draw the line. Stop accepting the blame for things that aren't your fault. Stop letting people manipulate you into believing you're the problem. Your feelings matter. Your voice matters. And the way someone treats you matters. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. You don't have to carry the burden of their irresponsibility. You don't have to take on the guilt that isn't yours to bear. Recognize the signs when someone is trying to shift the blame. Recognize when they're trying to gaslight you or make you feel like you're too much, and don't accept it. You deserve people in your life who will take responsibility, who will own their mistakes, and who will treat you with the love, respect, and accountability that you deserve. You were never meant to chase after those who cannot see your value. Your heart, your time, and your energy are sacred investments, not to be wasted on people who treat them as afterthoughts. True relationships are built on mutual effort, consistency, and care, not hollow promises and emotional exhaustion. The moment you choose yourself, you open the door to a life filled with real connection, lasting respect, and the kind of love that never leaves you questioning your worth.